Crews in Fayetteville are working to put out a large fire burning in a hayfield. Our breaking news tracker is live from the scene.
Our climb to weekend heat starts now, when you'll want to get outside to enjoy some spring weather and our next chance to get some much-needed rain.
Then, the cost of living and affordability. That's the topic of the day as both North Carolina Senate candidates make stops in the Triangle. Roy Cooper focusing on making things cheaper, and Michael Whatley touting the economy under President Trump. We'll break down what both candidates have to say. All righty, let's go. Let's get started here at 7 o'clock. Thanks for being with us. I am Dan Haggerty. A fire in Fayetteville. We have Senate candidates in the Triangle, and in Raleigh, an automated parking garage. A lot to talk about in tonight's newscast. Here's the email address, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. We want you to weigh in on any story that you see in this newscast or otherwise. What are we missing? What should the news be covering in your community? Let us know. First up, that fire at a farm in Fayetteville, now under control, which is good news. Sky 5 over the scene not long ago. This is the area of Gillis Hills. Firefighters just getting these flames under control recently, and they're investigating now what started the whole thing. They'll look further when conditions allow, but we want to bring you to the scene now. We have WRAL's Willie Danley. He's off Stony Point Road. Willie, thankfully no one was injured in this. Give us an idea of what else we know.
Yes, that is the good news, Dan. I can tell you this is a very big operation on a farm out here in Fayetteville. I'll give you a closer look at what we're seeing right behind us. And I'll tell you, this looks a lot different than it did just 30 minutes ago. The amount of smoke that we're seeing blow away in the wind is a lot less than it was when we first arrived out here. As I said, this is a very big operation. The city of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and North Carolina Forestry are all responding to this fire, trying to get these flames under control. This is some video and pictures that viewers sent us when they passed these large smoke coming into the air and flames coming out of the ground when they arrived here. I actually spoke to the man who owns this land, and he tells us that they were clearing hay from that field when something sparked on the machine that they were using, causing those bales of hay to catch on fire. He said they've lost several pieces of equipment and around 60 bales of hay. I asked him how much money does he think that they lost today in this fire, and he said it's definitely upwards of $50,000, closer to $100,000. As Dan said, this fire is now under control, but we are going to remain out here until we get the all clear to go closer and see what the damage is looking like in person. We're going to keep an eye on this. Willie Danley, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
Willie, thank you. Now, a lot of people saw those big plumes of smoke out there today. And Mike, this is important to talk about because all 100 counties in North Carolina right now are experiencing drought conditions, and it creates that risk for fires like we are seeing in Fayetteville.
Yeah, and today was especially worse because the air really dried out last night, and during the day today, the dew points plummeted down into the 20s and 30s, so the air was extra dry, so to speak, and we're blessed that we didn't have winds 10, 20 miles per hour because that fire could have easily gotten out of hand. I checked the wind speeds at the Fayetteville Regional Airport. They were 5 to 10 miles per hour today. It looked like the smoke was moving pretty good, but it could have been a whole lot worse. Now, here's our current drought map. Came out today. Cumberland County is in severe drought like much of our area. It has expanded, that extreme drought has expanded in the northeastern part of the viewing area where now all of Halifax County is in extreme drought, and it has spread out west as well. At the airport in Fayetteville, they're looking at a deficit of 4.25, and with this pattern that's about to set up with a big ridge taking place, that'll inhibit rain and increase the heat. That doesn't bode well for fires that develop. They could spread quickly, Dan.
Important stuff to mention. Thank you, Mike. As we move on now to the hotly contested U.S. Senate race here in North Carolina. Both candidates, they were out campaigning today in our area in the Triangle. We're talking about Democrat Roy Cooper, the former governor, of course, and Republican Michael Whatley, a former GOP strategist. Both are making the economy a central part of their platform. So let's see what they had to say. And let's start with Roy Cooper's event. Underway right now, Brian Schrader tracking this from the WRAL Live Center. Brian.
Live look right now at Durham, and the former governor is not taken to the stage just yet. There were some speakers over the past half hour who were talking to the crowd there. And of course, affordability is one of the key issues of this campaign, and the Cooper campaign is calling this the Make Stuff Cost Less tour, stopping in different spots around the state. And in an earlier appearance in Fayetteville, here's a little bit of what Cooper said about affordability.
For so many families, there's just too much month at the end of the money.
Now, we are going to be covering this tonight. We have Heidi Kirk there in Durham, awaiting former Governor Cooper's statement there. And this is streaming live right now on WRAL's YouTube channel as we stream the Michael Whatley event earlier today.
Okay, yeah, and let's move on to that. Thank you, Brian. Michael Whatley, WRAL's Megan Cloherty did attend that event earlier today in Raleigh. Take a look.
Michael Whatley said he had a productive conversation here at the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce with regional leaders talking about how they can create jobs and lower the cost of items for North Carolina families. With party support at his side from Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, the man who wants to represent North Carolina in the Senate, Michael Whatley, stepped to the microphones to talk about an issue top on voters' minds.
In North Carolina, the economy is obviously a significant part of the conversation that we're having with every family, with every community across the state.
Whatley took part in a roundtable with regional leaders to discuss the party's efforts to lower costs for working families. His party has minds to change in North Carolina. About 55% of adults polled in our state by Elon University say the economy has gotten worse during Trump's second term. That's up from 49% in September. And 47% gave the economy a D or F grade, up from 43% in September. We asked Whatley specifically how he'd lower costs amid the war in Iran and tariffs driving up prices.
It comes down to tax policy. It comes down to regulatory policy. It comes down to trade policies. You know, how are we going to create those jobs? And talking to the small businesses, right? Talking to manufacturers, talking to farmers that are the job creators all across the state.
Now, this race is already off to a multi-million-dollar start, and the race for North Carolina Senate has set campaign fundraising records before. Last week, we heard from the Senate Leadership Fund. They plan to invest $71 million in attack ads against Roy Cooper. We heard from the Democrats after that announcement. They say it's early in the race to be investing that much money, and it rings desperate. In Raleigh, Megan Cloherty, WRAL News.
A big story, a lot of big news to talk about, though. Let's get you through the big headlines. These are the 5 things you should know right now. For the 3rd time this week, a school in Durham has faced a threat. This is video from earlier this week at Research Triangle Academy. Students and staff went on lockdown today. Broadcastify radio traffic indicates that someone called in a bomb threat. Bit of a trend of those, also threatening to shoot up the school. The school received bomb threats on Monday and Tuesday as well. Today, the man charged after shots were fired outside. $50,000 for Trazion Dean. He faces charges stemming from a police chase caught on dash cam video. Raleigh police say someone inside the red truck you see there that crashed was driving, opened fire on a group of men in the Triangle Town Center parking lot yesterday and then sped off. New today, Raleigh bus crashed in at Edwards Mill Road and Park Lake Avenue. This is around 11 a.m. Quite the damage there. Police say 5 people were on the bus at the time when this happened. 2 people were taken to the hospital for treatment, but they're expected to be okay. Tonight, the Board of Education will vote on a plan to cut more than 20 jobs. The district says it's facing declining enrollment and it's facing budget challenges. Superintendent Rodney Trice, he recommends cutting 23 staff positions. School officials say they're exploring some options there to place any affected employees into some other open roles. And Durham has an interim police chief now. Deputy Chief Walter Tate will lead the department when current chief Patrice Andrews retires May 1st. Tate has worked for the department for more than 30 years. The city's still looking for a permanent replacement for Andrews. So did you know that driverless cars, now you can cue the music, driverless cars are coming to North Carolina. Right now, the cars are being tested out in Charlotte. But Raleigh might not be far behind. The City of Oaks is working on getting an automated parking garage. So when should we expect automated cars to officially come to town? We're going to talk about it after the break. Automation is everywhere, from the AI on your phones to cars and even parking garages. Have you heard about this? Some of you I know have, but this is some video from an automated parking garage from a company called Auto Park It. You drive your car onto the platform and then automation just does the rest. The company is working to bring one of these parking garages to Raleigh, but that is just the beginning. You see, to bring driverless cars to cities across the United States, you need the infrastructure to support them, like these automated parking garages. WRAL's Alex Littlehales looked into this technology, what it looks like right now, and what it might look like in Raleigh's future.
The conversation starts here, an empty field on Kinley Street just south of downtown. The city has approved the application for an underground parking deck in the upcoming Gateway District development. What makes this parking deck different than the other ones? Well, this project would be a first of its kind in the city of Raleigh. The company taking over the project, a company called Auto Park It. Their main product, an automated garage system. WRAL spoke to Auto Park It's CEO, who said while the system can handle autonomous vehicles, does it currently have projects in the U.S. that house autonomous driving?
So we have projects in the U.S. that are capable of housing autonomous cars. However, we do not have a contract yet with any of the autonomous vehicle companies. We would like to.
One company is now synonymous with driverless cars. Waymo, already in 11 cities and testing in 18 more across the country. One of the latest cities added to the bunch, Charlotte. A spokesperson for Waymo tells WRAL the company does not have any plans to share about expanding here. But the developers involved with the Gateway parking deck say the infrastructure has to come first anyway. Is this sort of a situation like Field of Dreams where the timeline goes, if you build it, they will come?
That's probably completely accurate.
All right, Alex, so, where to start here? Let's start with the parking garage because we know that is coming to the city. What more were you able to learn about that type of technology?
Well, there's a big selling point for automated robotic parking garages. So the main sell here is that for urban areas, an automated garage system is going to pack more cars into a space and take up less volume. So it's beneficial for growing cities like Raleigh. But, we found through just a quick Google search, a lot of issues, particularly in the last 10 years with some of these garages. Some projects in South Florida had mechanical issues. There was a story out of London where a family wasn't able to retrieve one of their cars for 3 years because it got stuck in one of these automated systems. But again, take that with a grain of salt. That technology, some of this reporting was 10 years ago. As we'd expect, technology advances very quickly. So we haven't seen as many of those problems recently.
So many changes in automation and the way it's integrated into the real world, specifically with driverless vehicles. What are we learning at this point about that technology?
So in this reporting, I think the main theme is that there's a balance and a conversation between progress and public safety. Look at Austin as a test case for this topic, because right now they're going through kind of two main public safety issues. One, they're finding that some Waymos, some driverless vehicles, are bypassing school bus signs. And so there's actually an NTSB investigation into that very issue right now. The second is that a couple weeks ago, a car was seen blocking an ambulance during the mass shooting incident near 6th Street in downtown Austin. And so some city council members are actually writing letters to Waymo saying we have to address these issues because we see the net benefit, but these public safety issues have to be addressed.
It's worth noting they're not shutting it down, despite a driverless vehicle passing a school bus that has the stop sign out, which is a serious infraction for a human driver. They're saying, hey, let's continue to let this grow, and we are seeing these programs pop up in different cities. So what is the realistic future for driverless vehicles, you think, here in North Carolina?
So let's remember, despite those issues that, catch a lot of media attention, just Waymo itself, one company, is in roughly a dozen cities. It's expanding to 20 cities, Charlotte being one of them. Take this just one statistic with a grain of salt. Waymo claims 92% of their rides offer 92% fewer serious injuries than a comparable ride from a human driver. So again, that's a Waymo statistic, but the argument is there that an autonomous vehicle is actually safer to be in, considering human error, than a human driver.
And we continue to see lawmakers buy in and try this out, and the consumers. I mean, these vehicles are being used in some of these other cities. We'll have to wait and see how things change here. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. Now, again, this all leads us to that bigger conversation about automation and technology and AI. We have gone in depth on the ways that tech has changed manufacturing and how the future factories out there will look less like the Industrial Revolution and more like a scene from the movie WRAL. Many experts and economists agree that fully automated vehicles may disrupt the world that we're used to more than anything we can imagine. Transportation isn't just about your commute to work or your ride home after a night out. I mean, we're talking trucking, package deliveries right to your door, getting pizza delivered on a Friday night, and every little step in between. Companies, as I said, and governments are paving the way for this. What will it bring in 10, 20, 30 years? What about jobs? I asked AI to show me what I will become in a world like that. And this is what it showed me. And I don't look all that happy, do I? Like I said, we're going full Wall-E with this, and the AI has proved it. Tell me what you think about it. Email us 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Do driverless cars freak you out? Would you ever get in one? What parts of the story are we missing here? What more do you want us to cover? Tell us what's on your mind. We'll talk about it here at 7 o'clock. Mike?
I guess AI didn't see you at the gym this morning. I don't think you'd ever look like that. But anyway, hey, we had a beautiful day. We started to warm up. It was 69 out at RDU. Tracking the next weather maker, it's a cold front moving through the Ohio Valley right now. It is anticipated to move through the area on Saturday. Minimal chance of rain. I added a 20% chance in for Saturday because there could be a few spits of rain. So here's Futurecast tonight at 6, showing the showers and some storms to the north and west. Tomorrow morning, we could wake up to some patchy fog. Later in the afternoon, full sunshine, warmer than today, about 10 degrees warmer than what we had today. But there's our cold front heading our way. And you're thinking, hey, that's some pretty good coverage of showers and storms during the afternoon Friday. Saturday morning at 6, there's the front on our doorstep. I'll take it off the map so we can see the clouds that progress into the state. Lunchtime Saturday, it's partly cloudy. A few green blips that are showing up. There's your 20% chance for a shower. Not much is showing up, but I've included it just in case something does occur and cover all bases, so to speak. And then by Saturday night at 11 o'clock, it's all done, and we're looking at partly cloudy skies. 69 out at RDU. We had a lot of folks, prom kids, come by to have their pictures taken. It looks like they're off for a fun evening. They're all pretty much gone. Temperatures in the 60s, although 56 at Hatteras, 50 at Norfolk, Virginia, 55 at Boone, so some cooler locations. And very little rain to tell you about in our area. There is some to the north and west over the next 7 days and offshore, but in between, not much going on. And the precipitation outlook doesn't bode well for significant precipitation. We're now in a 40% chance of below normal precipitation through the 17th through the 23rd. It's above normal off to the west. And add upon that a very good likelihood of above normal temperatures. It's not going to help the drought situation. This looks like a signature of 90s for highs during that period, and that's what's showing up for next week and into next weekend, and the drought will likely spread. Heading out this evening for a dog walk or getting your steps in, it'll be comfortably cool with about 61 by 8 o'clock. Patchy fog can't be ruled out overnight. Upper 30s to maybe mid-40s in Fayetteville, 43 Goldsboro, 41 at Rocky Mount, 70s tomorrow to maybe 80 in Fayetteville, 78 in Raleigh, 76 at Rocky Mount. A pretty day tomorrow, but it gets hot. 80s over the weekend with your 20% chance for a shower late in the afternoon and early evening for Saturday. 82 on Sunday. It's dry for the foreseeable future from Monday through Thursday. And look how temperatures ramp up. 89 now for Tuesday, 91 now for Wednesday, 91 for Thursday. The record highs, Dan, for Wednesday and Thursday, 92. Talking about rivaling old record highs next week.
Heating up. Thank you, Mike. So look, we get it. The news oftentimes can be a bit of a bummer. Doom and gloom. Well, not tonight. Today we went to talk to people who are visiting the WRAL Azalea Gardens to get some positive vibes out there. It's our one last thing. It's some of your feedback after the break. One last thing tonight, we get emails all the time about how negative the news can be, that what people really want is a bunch of really good news. A viewer named Thomas wrote in and said, could you possibly just have 30 minutes, just one time with positive news? Look, Thomas, I get where you're coming from, but the thing is, the news has tried that approach before, committing 30 minutes to puppies and rainbows and kumbaya, and you know what? It didn't work. The ratings were terrible. Nobody watched. The bottom line is, people want the news, and the news isn't always good. We see it in the data. A lot of times, the news is bad news. But maybe we can give Thomas just a little bit of positivity tonight. Ashley Rowe went out to the WRAL Azalea Gardens to ask people about what's positive in their lives.
What is something that you're excited about that is going on in your life?
Getting out, being retired. I'm enjoying spending time with my daughter and my granddaughters.
We're getting married soon.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
So So what's going on in your life that you're excited about?
Just to be coming out and sharing friendships and beautiful sunny day.
I'm on spring break, so it's great to be an educator and have a week of vacation.
Just every day, you know.
That's it. Can I sit with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm feeling so hopeful about the summer.
There's stuff I need to do at home, but it can wait.
Ain't that the truth?
Working in the yard. And this is inspiration.
My 16 grandkids.
16 grandkids? Do they all live in the area?
Yeah. It's hard to get them all at the same time, though. It's very difficult, but we find somebody's house and we all go.
When's the wedding?
Next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday.
Yes.
Next Friday?
Yes.
You are way too calm and easygoing for two people about to get married.
We're very, very excited.
That's so awesome. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Feels good, doesn't it? All right, we have some quick feedback from some of you watching at home tonight. Vicky wrote in and said, never, ever will I get into a driverless car. And I know a lot of people, Vicky, agree with you, but I'm certain that a lot of people said the same thing when we went from horse and buggy to that first Ford driving down the road. I'll never get in one of those. Or the first time that a commercial airline took off and flew across the country, people said, no way am I going up and flying in the clouds. I'm not certain, no one is, if autonomous vehicles are going to become the norm, but I will tell you this, the road is being paved. Keep writing in, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Tell us what is on your mind. This is your newscast. We will cover the topics you want each and every night. Thanks for being with us tonight. Have a good one.